Welcome to The Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes the Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes the Scoop. And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you have not already become a member of the channel, go to the description. There are varying levels of support. Hit the link. $5, $9, $20, who cares? But it's like a monthly subscription where you help keep this content coming. All right, guys, this is an AU Scoop. An AU Scoop. And today, all right, so guys, all right, in the past, I've been early on a few things, and one of those things was potential offensive coordinator names. So a few weeks ago, I don't know, let's look at the date. Hold on, let's pull this up. All right, so I'm gonna pull this up right quick. This video is from 2 weeks ago, going on 3. Let's see, share screen, boom. All right, this is a video, as you can see, from a couple of weeks ago, where I'm talking about potential offensive coordinator who has now been confirmed as a candidate to be offensive coordinator by Mike G of the War Report and some other shout out to Mike G too, and some other outlets as Buster Faulkner. Now, this is me a couple of weeks ago talking about Buster Faulkner. Let's say you want an old school traditional offense where you're just running the ball. I don't think you can get anybody better to come play some smash mouth complimentary with some new age wrinkles, right? I think the guy who can do that, who can provide that for you, maybe flashes of that Malzahn glory. Buster Faulkner, offensive coordinator, Georgia Tech. All right, so look. Then I had a couple other names too. I had Buster Faulkner. I had Cade Bell, who had Pittsburgh. Now people are starting to catch on that Pittsburgh, offensively is the real deal, right? It's Cade Bell. Now, I'm not sure if there's been any contact between Auburn and Cade Bell, but that was a name that I was getting from agents who's going to be hot this year. Another name I got was Brendan Marion from a source that was saying he'd be open to it. But Buster Faulkner was a tip that I got. All right. Here's another tip from that same tree of Buster Faulkner. Joey Halzle, University of Tennessee. Joey Halzle, University of Tennessee. Now, when we talk about the Tennessee offense, they've been very prolific over the past few years, right? Talk about Josh Heupel, the offense that he ran at UCF. His main guy when he came to Tennessee was Alex Golesh, who's now the head coach at South Florida, who's been giving people fits with that same offense. But Golesh actually called it. And when you hear Golesh talk, Josh Heupel saying, or Golesh talking about Heupel trusting him, being on the same page, and Heupel being able to step away. All right, now Heupel has not relinquished play calling duties yet. And people in Tennessee are saying, should he? Right? Halzle is your quarterback's coach, and now your OC. He was the quarterback's coach under Golesh and Heupel. Now he's the OC. Siri talking. Now he's the OC.
Hello there.
I don't know what she's doing. Hold on. Sorry about that. My iPhone went a little crazy just then. But yeah, so now Joey Halzle is the OC. He's been the OC since 2024. Now, people are saying, why would Halzle leave Tennessee to go to Auburn? One, he can call it on his own, right? Remember how Rhett Lashley left Auburn and he kind of flourished when he wasn't under Gus Malzahn because he was able to add his own wrinkles to the same offense. And now you see he has, he's learned from Gus and taken some things. He has, you can see a lot of Gus in his offensive scheme, but he's added a lot to it as well. So being able to learn a system and do what you want to do with it. Okay. Two, He's only making $850,000 right now at Tennessee. And then 3, autonomy over the offense. At Auburn, you got to right now as it stands. Now this is all assuming that the current plan goes into effect, which is Sumrall, head coach, Durkin, associate head coach in DC. How would you feel about Joey Halzle as the offensive coordinator? Now let's do a little dive into Joey Halzle. All right, personal information. Born in 1986, January 29th. Had a birthday coming up. So what's this? He's 39. Okay. 4 kids, married, played quarterback at Oklahoma. His coaching history started off as Oklahoma as offensive quality control assistant at Oklahoma from 09 to 2011. He was a GA at Oklahoma from 12 to 14, paid his dues. 15, analyst and assistant quarterback coach at Utah State. 2016, Missouri offensive analyst and assistant quarterback coach. 2019 at UCF, offensive analyst. 20, UCF quarterbacks coach. First position coach was at 2020 team at UCF. Okay. Josh Heupel gets the job at Tennessee. He comes along as the quarterbacks coach at Tennessee for 21 and 22. Now, and for 23 to present, he's the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach. Okay. Quarterbacks he's coached so far: Joe Milton, Herndon Hooker, Drew Lock, Trevor Knight, Landry Jones. He's been with Josh Heupel for 17 years. Now they've had elite quarterback development. This is what the bio says. Tennessee is coming off an exceptionally productive 4-year span of quarterback play under Halzle. Under Halzle, in the past 4 years, 113 touchdowns and only 18 picks on 1,578 attempts. The combined Tennessee quarterback passer rating, he is the quarterback's coach, 111.3. Number 1 in the SEC and 3rd in the nation behind only Ohio State and Oregon. 3 of the last 4 seasons, 3,000 yards of total offense for a Tennessee quarterback. For perspective, Tennessee had a quarterback produce 3,000 yards of total offense 5 times between 1950 and 2020. They've done it 3 out of 4 times in the last 4 years, but previously they'd only did it 5 times in 70 years. Yesterday he was announced as a Broyles finalist. Okay. Last year, or 2024, first year starter, freshman quarterback, 15th nationally, 447 yards per game. Okay. SEC's top rushing attack, Dylan Sampson, 225 yards a game as a unit. Okay. I like these numbers. In his first season as OC, now, he was the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach, but Heupel was calling it. 450 yards of total offense per game. 9th in FBS in rushing at 204 yards a game. Look, we know Tennessee has explosive offense. How does Tennessee do it? And this is what they do. It's a really good college offense. They take the wide receivers, spread them out wide as possible, and make you make a decision. And the wide receivers have options. So basically, depending on your coverage, they already know if you see the quarterback, if you see the corner pressing and the safety going to the box, we're throwing the go. If you see the safety off, or excuse me, if the safety stays back and the corner plays back, you're throwing a hitch. They add some play action in to draw the linebackers, and they will throw it over the top of your head. Now, the drawback to the offense. There are some NFL scouts that say This is a really good college offense, but it doesn't help us evaluate wide receivers because goals it's a ton of goals and hitches, right? But I don't see a problem with Tennessee players getting drafted and doing well in the league. I think they do all right. So think about this. Eric Singleton, Cam Coleman, Malcolm Simmons in the slot. I don't know. Let's go Sam Turner in the other slot. Let's go Bryce Kane. Cam Coleman, Bryce Kane, Eric Singleton, Malcolm Simmons. All right. Let's go Jeremiah Cobb in the backfield. Let's go Deuce Knight at quarterback. With an offense that says if the safety bites down to stop the run, RPO, Jeremiah Cobb, Deuce Knight, already tough to stop. But if you need help or you have to spy Deuce, go. You got Eric Singleton with that 4.240 or Cam Coleman, who's probably the best contested catch guy in the SEC and maybe in the nation on either side. Spread wide in a one-on-one situation. I like it. Deuce Knight has the kind of arm where he can throw the ball all over the field, and if they're spread out so wide, you have to have a strong arm quarterback, right? Because if you're on one hash and you're throwing all the way to the other sideline, you got to be able to make that throw. Deuce Knight can make the throw. This is a very, very interesting tip that I've gotten. Now, I don't know how far along it is. It can't be too far off. But I will say this. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Joey Halzle get an extension soon. I would not be surprised. If he gets an extension, then you already kind of know. But when you look at the groceries in the cupboard that Auburn has, this guy would be a monster. I believe so. I think this would be a home run hire if it were to happen. Now, taking nothing away from Buster Faulkner. If Buster Faulkner is the guy, amazing, right? But when you talk about maximizing the talents on the perimeter, where you're really loaded, man, I would give him $1.5 million to tell him to come on. Make him tell you no. Joey Halzle would be a monster in this offense. Drop a name that you think Auburn should go after offensive coordinator wise. This is just a tip I've got. I'm not saying that he's an immediate candidate, but this is something to watch because the same person, well, listen, a very credible source. All right, man. I appreciate it. Drop your thoughts and your comments in the chat. Thank you so much. All right, see you soon.